I haven't modeled your father, but I've modeled a lot of real successful business people. So the one thing that makes a good business head is that they believe in themselves. That's step number one. I don't care what else you know if you don't believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's what I say is good business. If I was to say before you even came up here, I said this to the group. That's the one thing that I have found that makes good business. People believe in themselves. And I think that that's going to give you a good business
That
head.
may be the one thing I was lacking.
Imagine if you don't have that. Yeah. And see, and if her father said, "What kind of question is that?" to me, I'd say, "Yeah. See, that tells you what he doesn't think about. Yeah. What kind of question is that?" I think that's a good question. It's what that one is. And I'd like to know what you think.
So why don't you go try that out inside and see what happens?
Well, I think she already did.
No, I know she did.
I think I'll do it some more.
There's slight little dialogue going on in here, yes.
What would have happened if you said something to him like, it isn't that I'm not making money. I've always been rich. We've always had money. I'm just temporarily out of funds. And after all, Dad, you're creative, and I inherited your creative tendencies, and I'm doing creative things. So it may appear right now that I'm just temporarily out of funds. I mean, I think it goes down to an attitude. I've never been poor. I've always been rich. But there's plenty of times I've known that temporarily.
That's the difference between a rich person and a poor person.
How they're feeling.
Right. The only thing I'd say is I think that what you're just saying there is kind of more on a belief. I think that doesn't address the worthwhile issue as much. I think that that's an important thing for her to have now too, which is first of all you have to deserve to be rich. First of all you have to deserve.
You have to feel that worthwhile before you feel that.
Right. And that's what I would say.
My father said we didn't do anything.
Yeah, I remember you. See ya.
So
In 9 times out of 10 belief issues, you ask a couple questions and the answer becomes apparent.
That's good.
No kidding. What she's saying is that it's the difference between an auditory belief that you got installed, and so you already had that one.
we're the difference.
Yeah.
At the opposite end. My father said one thing in my life when I was so young, I hardly remember it. That's all I know about it.
Yeah.
So
That's-
I could always do anything.
so.
Like I'm sort of the back end.
Now,
Why haven't you done more?
Even if I had all the money.
you mean to the Father? Yeah, but what she's asking is this. She's saying, what if you said to your father, well, look, what if, Dad, let's say I had more money than you, then would you be happy with me? Then would you approve of me? Is kind of what you're asking. If I invested and I had all the money in the world, would that make a difference? And see, what I'm kind of hearing you say was that somehow this money or this business success would somehow make you qualify as being a worthwhile human being, or maybe worthwhile just maybe to your father. And part of what I'm hearing you, and part of what I think your question leads to, and I think the issue is I got to be worthwhile. And my identity is beyond belief. I've got to be worthwhile. I don't care. I mean, I'm worthwhile no matter how much money I have, no matter how rich I am, whatever. And that seems to me to be part of that gap that you were having is, am I really a satisfactory person?
See, and the other question that would be worthwhile going after at this point in time is, what was your dad's intention in saying this?
Saying what specifically?
The whole thing about money.
That you should save your money more.
That I should be taken care of. I mean,
That you should
he
be
had a positive intent. I know that.
Okay. So he really cares about you.
Yeah.
Okay. So is your worthwhileness dependent upon money, or... See, one of the things you could do, you have some choices here. Another choice. You can go and listen to your dad's words for your worthwhileness. If you're going to decide to make it dependent on an external source. Okay. Or his behavior. He makes lots of money. Or the intention. Now, which way do you want to go? Because I hear you saying that his intention and your worthwhileness really isn't a question of money.
His intention, I think, was to remind me, as he puts it, about a lack in me which he perceived, which was I was very intelligent in some areas, but didn't have much common sense. And it's in his
Just
intent.
another human being, huh?
Yeah, his intent was positive. I believe that.
But see, I would say the rest of this, a lot of this other stuff at this point is almost a moot point. I mean, I think a lot of the other things will sort it out, and will get themselves sorted out. That these things these are all additional things that we could do here. In my opinion, at this point, I would say the major work's already done.
I would too.
So we could go on and be creative, but I think you can see by what she was doing here.
But I don't want you to play with me anymore because I want to go away with that sentence.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm saying. Is
Bye.
Thank you.
Because I think
Thank
that you will have I think you have a good enough business head to use what you got. And always remember, you can keep the change. That's good business sense.
See, it comes down to a question whether you mind the pennies or mind the dollars, which take care of themselves. Now, let's find out what they got, and then we can all go home.
Okay. I have a couple of final words, of course, to close, but
After.
Yeah.
Okay, I have this problem. See, at the end of every seminar, I like to find out what people got out of it. And what we need to do is take a sentence or two from each person as to what is going to be useful and you're taking home with you. Now, we already know about Linda. So, if we can go around the room real quickly, but you're going to have to speak up loud so we can get it on the microphone, be helpful. Karen.
A deeper understanding of NLP.
Okay. We'll do it this way. Deeper understanding of NLP. Go ahead.
I got more of an understanding of the power of language and the power of beliefs, and just a lot of ideas of some things to play with.
I think the only thing that's really in my conscious mind is the first morning, the triangle and the square and the circle, and I think that's what I'll use more than anything, consciously anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a lot of good techniques how to use both in my classroom and just in daily life, talking to people and getting along with people.
Well, I got a billion more little bits.
Everybody else, that's only for the camera, so you have to speak up to them.
I got a billion more little chunks and another organizing gestalt for, this information. That's what it feels like.
I learned some new ways to reframe.
I got a lot of structure for things which seemed very familiar and will begin to fall into place.
I got a lot on how to negotiate between people.
I got about 10 more ways to meta comment, and I think a deeper understanding of what belief systems are about.
As usual, I found a little more about myself, which seems to make it easier to understand other people.
I got a lot of